Welcome to episode 3 of the About Bitcoin podcast, and today we're going to talk about wallets. I think the term is a little bit misleading because, as we learned in the previous episode, Bitcoins are not stored in the wallet. The wallet's primary job is to manage your keys, and your keys are what allow you to create addresses to receive and also to spend Bitcoin. So let's say I wanted to send you some Bitcoin. You need to give me your address. Where do you get your address? Well, your wallet generates addresses, and it can generate as many addresses as you like. I mean, they're infinite. So what happens is when you first set up a wallet, the wallet will create the private keys, and from the private key, the wallet creates receiving addresses for you. Now, you don't have to worry too much about the private key side of it because that's kind of buried deep inside the wallet and you don't have to worry about it too much. It's just a case of you have your wallet, you've got a send button and you've got a receive button. When you press the receive button, it'll give you an address to give to me or whoever wants to send you some Bitcoin. And when you press the send button, it says where are you going to send it, whose address, and somebody would have given you an address. It's as simple as that, really. I mean, obviously, they have more features. They do other things, but we're going to keep this one simple for now. This is kind of aimed at beginners, just to understand what's going on. We've got a send button. We've got a receive button. The receive button will give you an address to give to somebody. The send button will ask you to input an address so you can send to somebody. And deep inside is the private keys, which we absolutely must critically keep safe. Because if somebody gets your private keys, they can get your coins. I think we talked about that in the last episode. So it's really essential to keep the private keys safe. Now, about the wallets, getting hold of one, for example, I'm not going to talk about different brands, but if you've ever installed an app on your phone, it's as simple as that to put a wallet on your mobile phone. If you've ever downloaded software onto your computer, the same thing. You can download any one of a number of software wallets to install on your computer. And the third option, which would be more likely to be new to some of you, would be the hardware wallet. The hardware wallet being a little device with a screen you purchase. You plug it into your computer and you load up the appropriate software that comes with it. And then you can send and receive and see your balance and little graphs and stuff. I mean, it's quite straightforward. But there is one important difference, which is about security. When your private keys are on your phone or on your computer, there is always the possibility of a malicious software program. For example, let's say you caught a virus on your phone or your computer, and let's say that virus was created with the intention of searching your device for wallet type folders, the type of files that would contain private keys and exfiltrating them, so uploading them to somebody's website or wherever they want to store it, for example, and somebody was able to get their hands on your keys. Well, if they get your keys, they can get your money, your Bitcoin. And, we have to accept that that's a risk. I mean, it's not going to happen to everybody, and it's not going to happen to everybody straight away, but there's always that option that you get a malicious program that takes your keys, and the keys can be deciphered or in some way learned by a malicious actor, and you lose all your funds. So if you're a little bit worried right now, you should be, I think, because you definitely wouldn't want to store a large amount of Bitcoin on your mobile phone or your computer. Certainly, you can use either one of them for quick access to funds if maybe you lived in one of these places where you can use Bitcoin a bit more often. I mean, there are more and more places like that coming online. If you wanted quick and convenient access to your Bitcoin, then of course a phone is great for small amounts, an amount that wouldn't be the end of the world if you lost it, if it got hacked, or even if you lost your phone or whatever. The difference with the hardware wallets is, or the main difference I should say, is that they've been designed in such a way that they can be used to send and receive Bitcoin without the private keys ever leaving the device. So the device itself doesn't connect to the internet. The device itself connects to your computer, and your computer connects to the internet. The private keys stay on the device. They never come up the cable and go onto the computer where they could get stolen by a hacker. So the developers of these hardware wallets have done a great job in massively improving security by ensuring that the private keys stay private. And believe it or not, you could even have your computer completely covered in viruses, and even there could be a remote attacker connected to your computer and they can see your screen and everything, and still your private keys would be safe. I've bought some of these devices and played with them, and the way they work is really, really cool. And I mean, I'm not a super geek expert or anything, but I do work in cybersecurity, so I have an idea. In case my boss is listening, I have an idea about cybersecurity and stuff like that. And as I use them, I think to myself, well, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the way they do that, and so on. But ultimately, the keys not coming onto the computer, not getting onto an internet-connected device is really the fundamental security feature. So quick summary, computer wallet, phone wallet could potentially get hacked. Don't have huge amounts of Bitcoin on a device that's connected to the internet. And if you were going to have, any amount of Bitcoin that you would rather not kind of lose, I would highly recommend that you invest in a hardware wallet. Oh, actually, there is not so much another type of wallet, but there is another scenario that I would like to draw your attention to, of course. We've discussed the wallet on your phone, the wallet on your computer, and the hardware wallet. But there's one other scenario where somebody buys Bitcoin, and there are many exchanges, but let's just say Coinbase, for example. So they buy Bitcoin on Coinbase and they leave it there. They leave it on Coinbase, so they don't have a wallet. In which case they wouldn't need a wallet. It's on Coinbase, and that should really be covered in this episode. So what's the situation there? Well, that's like buying Bitcoin from someone and saying, hey, I've just bought that Bitcoin, but why don't you look after it for me? Yeah, you look after that. And if you go bust, I lose it. If you get hacked, maybe I lose it. You're not a bank, so you probably don't have those guarantees in place that the banks have. In the UK, it's 85,000, that type of thing. So yeah, I'm going to leave my Bitcoin with you. I hope you look after it. I hope you don't get hacked, and I hope you don't go out of business. And I hope no government says we don't want people from that particular country owning Bitcoin, so please just take it off them. I mean, I'm being a bit dramatic, but the point is the creator of Bitcoin really intended for people to self-custody. And so you have this option to hold your own Bitcoin, to be your own bank, as they say, and to leave it with a third party like that wouldn't be my choice, I guess. That's not to say that they don't have excellent security and things like multi-factor authentication, and I'm sure they do a good job. And I mean, okay, so FTX went bust recently. As I understand it, people were buying Bitcoin on FTX, and FTX would update your balance, but they wouldn't actually buy in the Bitcoin, and all sorts of shenanigans like that. There was Mt. Gox back in the day. Anyway, just suffice to say, not all exchanges can be trusted, and probably the least trusting thing you can do is to, if you're going to buy a Bitcoin from such a exchange, buy it and withdraw it to your own wallet. I guess some people listening to this podcast will have already bought some Bitcoin, and in many cases they will have bought it and left it on the exchange. Yeah, it's just something that you need to be aware of, and a decision you need to make, based on the facts. Don't automatically assume that you just leave it on the exchange, that's the done thing. I mean, you can leave it there if you want, but do it with the knowledge that it doesn't have to be that way. It's up to you. You can self-custody, and there are risks and benefits of each. Okay, so another summary. I do like my summaries. You can store it on your phone, but I wouldn't put a lot there. You can store it on your computer, but I wouldn't put a lot there. You can buy a hardware wallet from a reputable manufacturer, and you can inspect the packaging, make sure it all looks legit, make sure it's definitely not secondhand, no one's got their grubby mitts on it, and you can store it there, and that is probably the safest way to do it. Well, no. Well, yeah. I mean, there are other technical solutions, but it's a really safe way to do it on a hardware wallet, and it's perfect for most people. Or, of course, you can leave it on the exchange, and you're going to do that. You're going to make that choice. Having listened to this podcast, you're going to make an informed decision on that. Okay. Ooh, there is one kind of wallet which I didn't touch on, and I'm only going to tell you about it because I think it's really fun and interesting, but I'm not going to recommend it unless you're in a specific situation. And yeah, just telling you because it's fun. It's called the Brain Wallet. But before I cover the Brain Wallet, I'm going to loop back to the other wallets because there's some information you need to know before you learn about the Brain Wallet. So the wallets I've been discussing are called deterministic wallets. That's really not important, I don't think. But the way they work is based on something called BIP-39. And a BIP is a Bitcoin improvement proposal. It's how people make suggestions about how to improve. Yeah, how to propose an improvement. And this BIP-39 is really cool because what they did was some really clever person or people came up with a way to generate the private keys that would make it easy to regenerate them should you need to. What I mean by that is, let's say you had some balance on your phone, on your computer, or even on your hardware wallet, and there was a fire, or a flood, a thief, or a puppy, or any number of things that could happen. Yeah, puppy eats your hardware wallet, or your phone gets wet and it's broken. How could you recover your coins? Well, step up BIP-39. When we set up our devices, the first thing we do, even on the hardware wallet, on the phone wallet, on the computer wallet, on all of these deterministic wallets, the first thing we do is we get presented with a list of words, and we record these words. We write them down or whatever. Some people scribe them into metal and stuff like that. We'll come back to that. Let's say for now we write them down. And these words come in either 12 or 24. Now let me tell you how it works. So download the wallet onto your phone. You go into the wallet for the first time setup. They tell you to write down the words. Let's just say 12 words for now. You write them down. You put the paper in the safe. And you write down another copy and you give them to your friend. I mean, we'll come back to that because now, all right, so you've got a set in your safe. You've got a set at your friend's house. Next thing is your house catches fire and your phone was in the house and now your Bitcoin is completely gone. And maybe you hadn't listened to this episode and you had 100 grand stored on your phone. Not a good idea, but your phone is just ash, is burnt. And you go to your safe and that's melted and the words inside, they're gone too. So you go to your friend's house and you say, give me that envelope that I asked you to look after. And your friend has the envelope. Perfect. So you go and buy a new phone. You download a wallet. It doesn't even have to be the same wallet, but why not? You're familiar with that type of wallet. But this is BIP-39 is a standard. So as long as it's a BIP-39 compatible wallet, why am I overcomplicating this? You download the wallet on your new phone and the wallet says to you, do you want a new wallet or do you want to restore an old wallet? You say, well, I want to restore my old wallet, please. And they say, so type in your 12 words. You type in the 12 words and your funds are back. You've got all your money. I mean, you back it up with 12 words. How cool is that? Now, in this particular case, you have to hope you didn't fall out with your friend or your friend didn't tell somebody they were looking after a wallet for you and they knew that you liked Bitcoin and the friend's friend has stolen the paper and so on and so forth, but it was just an example. The takeaway is whether you have a phone wallet or a computer wallet or a hardware wallet, you will always be given some words and you need to guard those words with your life, well, maybe you want to do that. You write down those words. You never just click on, yeah, I've written down the words, press next. You don't do that. You write down the words. You never take a photo of them with your phone and let them upload to iCloud or Google Photos or anywhere else, because you can kiss your funds goodbye, because I'm sure there already is, but if there isn't, there will be people writing software algorithms that'll just, maybe insiders in Google or Apple or whatever, they're going to be looking for words. Trust me, you never take a photo of them. You never let anybody see them. You don't write them down and leave them on a coffee table and invite your friends round, because if anybody sees those words, they got your funds. By the same token, if anything happens to your wallet, your words is going to bring back your money. So the words, you should treat them like cash, basically. You really look after them. So you wouldn't really store them at a friend's house like that. Maybe a close family member. Depends on trust levels. You could even store them with your solicitor as part of a will even. But you do have to be careful, because those words unlock your Bitcoin. It's that simple. They have to be protected. So quick summary. We get our wallet, whichever type it might be. We write down our words and we protect them like they are of the value of our Bitcoin. And we understand that if anybody sees them, anybody takes a photo of them words, comes across them, babysitter sees them, your money could be gone. You really need to protect those words. And you don't take a photo either on your own phone, because somehow it might find its way onto the internet, or even, it's on your phone. If your phone gets hacked, you just don't let those words touch the internet. Now, here's something pretty interesting. A few things, actually. Let's say I wanted to give a gift of, let's just say I wanted to give a gift of some Bitcoin to somebody. So I could, for example, there are other ways to do it, but this is an easy way to understand it. I download a wallet on my phone, and when it says, would you like to create a new wallet or set up a sort of restore an old wallet, I say, no, give me a new one. And so it gives me my 12 words. So it creates the 12 words, and I write them down on a piece of paper, and then I'm in the wallet, and I click on receive, that I would like to receive some funds, and then I go to my main wallet, for example, and I send, 50 quid. I send 50 quid. Obviously I'd be sending, £50 value of Bitcoin to that wallet. And then I go to that wallet and I receive the £50, and then I just delete it. But I've got those 10 words. I've got those words, those 12 words, 12 or 24. So let's just say 12. So I've got the 12 words on a piece of paper. I've deleted the wallet, but I did send £50 worth of Bitcoin to it. I then put that in an envelope, and then I gift it to somebody. And maybe, for example, I've heard of people doing it when a baby's born. So let's just say you put the 12 words into a card, a congratulations card. There's £50 is going in the card, but all that's there is 12 words. Now, that Bitcoin is perfectly safe on the blockchain. Using those 12 words, that baby could open their own wallet, when they're older, and they would be able to restore that wallet, and however much Bitcoin was in there, £50 when they were born, who knows what that would be when they were a bit older, but it's a way to sort of gift somebody some Bitcoin just by giving them 12 words. It's great. So that was just something I found pretty interesting, that you can give someone 12 words and it could contain £1 million, £1 million of Bitcoin today, So when we talked about brain wallets earlier, or when I touched on brain wallets, and I said we're going to explain the other thing first, we had to talk about the words in order that I can tell you about a brain wallet. So a brain wallet is simply that you remember 12 words. So you could, as I said, you could create a Bitcoin wallet, write down the 12 words, memorize them, send the funds to the receiving address for that wallet, and delete it. And then you'd have the 12 words in your head. And then let's say, for example, because this is, it's a really bad idea, because if you forget the words, you lose all your coin. But let's just pick a scenario like, for example, you were in a really dangerous situation in another country and you had to flee for your life, and all your belongings you had to leave there, but you had some Bitcoin. So imagine before you go, you say, well, I'm going to get searched. I can't take anything out, but my life savings, I have them in Bitcoin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw away all my factory reset my phone, throw away my hardware wallet and smash it up and burn it. But I'm going to remember those 12 words. And as soon as I arrive, in my country of refuge, I'm going to go straight down the shop, buy a new phone or buy a new whatever, and restore the wallet from those 12 words. Or simply write them down and just keep them safe when you get to the next sort of safe country. So in that respect, it really impresses me the way that you could transfer any amount of wealth, whether it be $1 million, $100 million, or 50 quid. You can transfer it in your brain by remembering 12 words. I don't know about you, but to me that just sounds pretty amazing. When you get to the other side, you either write them down or even have somebody from the source country phone you up, tell you the words, you write them down, and then they destroy them on that side. But yeah, a way to move your life savings like that in your brain is pretty cool, I think. However, unless you're in kind of a life or death situation, I wouldn't recommend it, because people do forget stuff. It's really, you don't want to do that. You want to write things down. And talking about writing things down, there are actually businesses now that exist where they will sell you sort of pre-made metal plates that you can punch out, the words and stuff like that. And basically an industry has sprung up around ways to protect your words, and you can get different little contraptions where you spin the discs around and you can put a padlock on it and like that. Yeah, really cool stuff. And people have tested them by putting them in furnaces and stuff, or well, maybe not a furnace, but a fire. Yeah, people are creating ways for you to protect your words. Now, let me tell you something else I find really interesting about this whole seed phrase. It's called a seed phrase, right? Your 12 words, 24 words. It's called a seed phrase. And those words generate the private key. The private key unlocks your funds, creates your receiving addresses, etc. There is one other thing I'd like to cover with regard to the seed phrases and restoring wallets, etc. And that is, you can get something called the 13th or 25th word. So the first 12 words or the first 24 words, they come from a list. And the list is 2,048 words. Now what you can do is, in some wallets, lots of wallets, I don't know which do and which don't, but certainly lots of the wallets will allow you to add a 25th word or a 13th word. And what happens is they will give you the first 12 words when you're creating the wallet, and they will say, would you like to use a 13th word? Would you like to use a 25th word? And if you say yes, they ask you for it. And the 13th or 25th word doesn't have to be from the official list. And it doesn't even have to be a word. It could be, like a password. And what would happen in those circumstances is, if you were to leave your 12 or 24 words with a friend, or a trusted family member, and if they went rogue on you and they decided to try and steal your funds, when they came to restore the wallet using your words, the balance would be 0. And they'd say, well, that's weird. He or she has given me a list of words, but the balance is 0. And they would just be scratching their head. And they would wonder what's up. But the truth is, when after your puppy at your wallet, and you went around their house to get the words, you'd get them. And when you were restoring them, you would know there was a 13th or 25th word. And so when the software application, the wallet, asks you if there's one, you'd say yes, you'd input it, and there's your funds, they're back again. So the 25th or 13th word is pretty good for security, actually. It's called a passphrase as well. They call it a passphrase or a 25th word or a 13th word. And it adds another level of security, but also another level of complication. So it's just a balance again, If you were to say to somebody, look, in the event of my death, here's my 12 words, give that to my wife or children or what have you, you also then need to make sure that they have the passphrase as well. And it's not a password, it's a passphrase, and it's kind of joined onto the 24 or 12 words to create the private key and to create the wallet. So that's just something to bear in mind, I think is a great idea. The other thing that it works well for is people talk about something called a $5 wrench attack. I had to Google that when I first heard about it because I didn't know what a $5 wrench attack was. And what it means is a criminal goes to a shop and buys a wrench, comes around your house and threatens to smash your head in with it. And what happens is, let's say you pull out your hardware wallet or your whatever wallet you want and or your words, and the criminal standing over you with the $5 wrench, you might have two passphrases. You might have, what do they call it? A passphrase you use under duress. And that passphrase, so you get your wallet out, connected to the computer, crazy guy standing behind you, and you put in your duress passphrase, and it shows a balance of X, and then your more substantial balance is under a passphrase of Y. Yeah, what they call that is, I guess you would call it plausible deniability, is because you can say, look, here's my account. I only have, $50 in there, but you're welcome to it if you don't smash my head in with the wrench. But really, you have another passphrase which would go to a bigger balance. Yeah, you get plausible deniability with the use of a 13th or 25th word. So we covered phone wallets, computer wallets, and hardware wallets. We talked about the seed phrases, and we talked about brain wallets, and we talked about passphrase. I've got one more thing to discuss. Just one more little tidbit of information which I found quite interesting. I referred to it in episode 1 actually. Okay, so when you go to Google or Yahoo or whatever and you want to set up an email address, you type in, Bob, and they say Bob is gone. You're going to have to choose something else. So you choose Bob1 and they say, no, that's gone as well, and they keep making you change it until you find the one you want, until you find the one which is free. Well, the interesting thing, and also kind of scary about Bitcoin, is there's no check like that. If somebody was to randomly choose the same 12 words as you, they got your funds. There's no password. I mean, passphrase aside for the moment, we're talking about, just the 12 words or the 24 words. If they pick the same ones, so let's say Fred down the road goes to the shop, buys a hardware wallet, or even downloads a wallet onto his computer, and they say, hey, Fred, we're going to generate your words now. They generate your words, but they generate his words, but they just happen to be the same words as you generated 2 years, 5 years prior, and yours are full of Bitcoin. You've got your life savings in there, and Fred happens to get, happens to get the same amount of words, the same words, and he goes into the account and he's scratching his head because there's $1 million worth of Bitcoin in there. Like, well, that's weird. I was expecting that to be empty, but all good. And yeah, there's no punchline on that. There's nothing to add there, kind of. That's the way it works. Now, you might be freaking out about now, but what is the protection? What is to stop that happening? The answer is nothing but probability. And this is where people like me have to have faith in the mathematical experts that came before us, because apparently the chances of that happening are pretty rare. When I say pretty rare, so rare so as not to be a concern. And at this point, I still wasn't completely comfortable, but apparently when you do even 12 words, and there are 2048 words in the list, so the total number of combinations is 2048 times 2048 times 12 times. And what apparently that means that's kind of more than every grain of sand on every beach in every ocean on Earth and every other planet in the universe. Something like that. Sounds like crazy numbers that we can't even fathom. And so even if Fred wrote a kind of a computer that would keep trying different combination of words until he found an account with a balance in it, and Fred had like the best computers that they have in the world right now, it would still take like hundreds of years and stuff, or thousands or millions. I mean, don't quote me. It's just so improbable, so as we don't have to be concerned. And unless you're a maths genius or you understand 2048 to the power of 12, like what kind of size number that is, unless you understand that kind of stuff, and I don't, you just have to have faith that it's not an issue. And I guess if you add the 13th or 25th word, I guess the probability goes down even further. So I thought that was pretty interesting and a little bit scary. I think, the summary of summaries is, if you're going to have any significant amount of Bitcoin at all, you probably want to buy a hardware wallet. You don't want it on your phone. You don't want it on your computer, really. We didn't touch multi-signature. We'll touch that in the future. Not really a type of wallet. It's kind of type of a wallet setup. And that's pretty secure. We'll come back to multi-signature. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a little bit educational. I hope it wasn't too confusing. New episodes are released every Sunday, so if you'd like to be notified, maybe follow on your podcast app, or you can follow me on Twitter, which is now x.com, and my handle, my username is aboutbitcoinpod. You can also email me if you have questions or comments or feedback, or even just to say hello. The email address is hello@aboutbitcoinpodcast.com. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, thanks for listening.